Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing video number 5 of Guide to Start Coding Roadmap. So this one will be about HTML for beginners and how to create your first website. HTML is short for HyperText Markup Language. You can think of it as the bones of a web page. It's the standard markup language for creating web pages. It determines the structure of the page by specifying the elements that should be displayed and the order that they should be displayed in. In fact, it consists of a series of elements that tell the browser how to display the content. Every web page that you've ever visited in your browser has some HTML associated with it. When you visit a web page, the web server sends over some HTML to your browser. Your browser then reads it and displays it for you. Most web pages contain a standard set of content, including a title, text, images, navigation links, headers, footers, and more. All of this information stores as HTML that defines the page structure. As we'll see later, other programming languages enable us to write code that does stuff, such as running a set of instructions in sequence. HTML doesn't do anything. We don't run or execute it. It just sits there in a file and waits to be sent to a web browser to display it to the end user. In fact, HTML is basically just data that defines what a web page should look like, nothing more. So how do you write HTML? HTML uses a standard set of tags or labels to identify the available elements that make up a web page. Each tag is defined using angle brackets. For example, you can see how the title tag is defined here. HTML element is defined by a start tag, some content, and an end tag. The starting tag is just the tag label in between angle brackets that opens the new HTML tag. The ending tag is essentially the same, but it uses a forward slash after the first angle bracket to mark it as an ending tag. Any text between the two tags is the actual content that the page will display. The purpose of a web browser is to read HTML documents and display them correctly. A browser doesn't display the HTML tags, but uses them to decide how to display the document. Alright, I want you to think about this page for a sec as our first website to create. Let's see what kind of building blocks are hidden behind our web page. You can see the HTML, the head with the page title below that, and then the body under that. Things to keep in mind. The content inside the body section will be displayed in a browser. Look at the white area here. The content inside the title element will be shown in the browser's title bar or in the Pages tab. There are lots of HTML editors out there. However, for learning HTML, I recommend a simple text editor like Notepad or TextEdit. I believe in that using a simple text editor is the best way to learn HTML for beginners. After you open your text editor, write some HTML and save it on your computer as index.html. Then open your Save HTML file in your favorite browser. You can double-click on the file or right-click and choose Open With. Let's try it together. Your result will look much like this. Congratulations! You just made your first website. This example brings up a point we didn't mention before. HTML tags can be nested inside each other. This means that HTML tags can be placed inside other HTML tags. HTML provides many tags. We won't cover all of them here, but we'll do a couple of the most common tags in use. Since the early days of the World Wide Web, there have been many versions of HTML. Exclamation mark doctype HTML in angle brackets is the syntax in HTML5. So in our example, this tag defines that this document is an HTML5 document. One thing to keep in mind is that all HTML documents must start with a document type declaration. The HTML element is the root element of an HTML page. This defines the start of an HTML page. A corresponding / HTML tag defines the end of the HTML page. Any content between these tags will be a part of the page. Head element contains meta information about the HTML page. This defines additional information that the browser will use to understand the page. Most of the content in this tag is not displayed to the user. A corresponding / head tag defines the end of the head section. Previously, we saw the title tag. It defines the title of the page that the browser will display in the Browser tab. This tag needs to be placed inside the head section. The body element defines the document's body and is a container of all the visible content such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, and more. The visible part of the HTML document is inside the body section. H1 element defines a large heading. HTML headings are defined with the H1 to H6 tags. Look at the yellow area here. H1 defines the most and H6 defines the least important heading. And finally, in our example, P element defines a paragraph. HTML paragraphs are defined with P tag. A corresponding / P tag defines the end of each paragraph section. HTML provides other tags like BR tag, A tag, IMG tag, and much more. Some HTML elements have no content, like the BR element. These elements are called empty elements. The BR tag defines a line break and is an empty element without a closing tag. I want you to look at this example and try to write some HTML like this, then open your saved HTML file in your browser. What's your favorite poem to write in HTML? A tag defines a hyperlink. The link's destination is specified in href attribute. The href specifies the URL of the page the link goes to. All HTML elements can have attributes that provide additional information about elements. Attributes are always specified in start tag and usually come in name value pairs. IMG element represents an image, which is an external resource that can be embedded in the body of the document. The location of this external resource must be specified in the src attribute. You can also use width and height to manage the size. While I was involved in coding, I came across a very interesting subject which was a discovery to me, and that is how to inspect HTML source code and all its elements. Have you ever seen a web page and wondered, wow, how did they do that? What's the secret behind that web page? You can simply view HTML source code of any web pages by selecting View Source or Similar in your browser. This opens a window containing the HTML source code of the page. You can also right-click on an element and inspect it by choosing Inspect or Inspect Element to see what elements are made up of. I believe in that inspecting HTML and playing around other web pages on the internet is very helpful to learn HTML for beginners. Alright, so far we've discussed creating our first website, and as you see in our example, this website is 100% the plain text on white background. It isn't that much pleasing to the eye, isn't it? So we need the coding language along with HTML that gives a website its look and layout and creates better user experience. CSS is fundamental to web design. It's the coding language that makes the front end of a website shine. I'll walk you through it in another video. Hope this video was as simple as I promised, and it gave you some handy information that you can use in your future projects. So if you liked the video and you are the awesome person, just click on the thumbs up. And you can also subscribe to my channel if you are extra awesome. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.